Hi, welcome to Metaphysical Moments. I'm your host, Sid Patrick, world traveled medium. On today's episode, we have Miss Tonie Bowden. She has been a hypnotherapist in the New Orleans area for about 30 years now. So, right after this commercial, we're going to see Miss Tonie. See you then.
Welcome to a different kind of inner peace. Here at the Metaphysical Resource Center, you will find a variety of classes, services, and events. We sell metaphysical products and accessories. You can schedule a session with one of our professional healers, mediums, readers, or even a table tipping event. We are your resource for all things metaphysical.
We know you're coming, darling, for that reading, and tell him Psychic Sissy sent ya.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Miss Tonie. Hi, Miss Tonie. How you doing?
Hi, Sid. I'm doing fine.
Well, Miss Tonie, I want you to talk to our viewers and kind of tell us a little bit about how you got into hypnotherapy. What was your journey?
My journey was I was pregnant with my last child, and he is now going to be 49 or 48, I forget. Anyway, my doctor said to me when I was about 2 or 3 months pregnant, would you like to try hypnosis? I didn't know what it was. I said, sure, try hypnosis. Let's go for it. So he started hypnotizing me, and I would go home and tell my husband. He said he hypnotized me, but I don't believe he did because I heard every word he said. And this went on until the day that David was born. And when he was born, the doctor, or when I was in labor, the doctor came in, he poked his head in the door and said something to me. I didn't remember a thing after that. I was out like a light. But later, not too much later, the nurses all came in and they said, oh, you were wonderful. And I was, I guess. He didn't give me a suggestion to remember the childbirth. That was my only regret with the hypnotherapy. But from then on, I was hooked. I wanted to know more about it. And in 1982, I took Silva courses. I took about 3 of them, which was a lead-in to my hypnotherapy. And then I took hypnotherapy with St. John's University in 1986. And I began teaching for St. John's University in 1988, I believe it was. And I taught courses for basic hypnotherapy and then later on advanced. I have used hypnotherapy now for years and years on myself and others. And it's a wonderful tool. And it goes along with everything else that I'm doing in my spiritual life.
Okay, so tell us a little about that spiritual path and how it got you there.
Right. I started working with a channeled entity about the same time that I took hypnotherapy. And that took me to different travels around the United States. I've lived in Gettysburg, I've lived in North Carolina, I've lived briefly in Texas, and I worked with this channel for many, many years, not just by myself, but a whole group of people that we got information on how to improve our spiritual path and what we needed to do. The channel said work with hypnotherapy, that you can help people to expand and grow spiritually. And so that's been my main focus for many, many years now.
And since this is an educational-based, program, explain to our viewers what is a channel, so they understand when you say the word channel.
All right. A channel is first, it is a spiritual entity that comes through a physical being.
A source. A
source, yes. And this channel came through a lady, and I'm not going to mention her name, but she channeled this entity for many, many years. And she would go into, I guess, what's called a sleep state. She was totally unconscious. She was an unconscious channel. She wasn't aware of the movements or anything that the source coming through her would make or what he would even say. When she would awaken, then we would have to tell her what he said. And that's what a channel is.
All right, great. Thank you for that information. And so tell us, because there's so many different facets of hypnotherapy, but let's first talk about some of the ways you use hypnotherapy in your own life to enrich your health or for different reasons.
Well, it helped me, number one, with public speaking.
Okay.
I had a job working for a comedy club, and I found out that I had to announce the comedians, and I was very shy. I didn't want to have to do it, but I had one of my friends hypnotize me, and I was able to go up then and speak in front of large crowds of people and announce the comedians. And that seems like a little thing, but when you're afraid of speaking in public, it's a big thing. And now I'm not so much afraid of speaking in public, but hypnotherapy helped me in that way. It also helped me in my health. If I was in pain, I could use hypnotherapy to help with the pain. It has helped me in other things, like when I had cancer. I used hypnotherapy every time I had chemo. My daughter would come with me and she would hypnotize me. I would give her the things to tell me, and she would hypnotize me the whole time I was getting chemotherapy. And I didn't get sick. And all of the nurses, when I was getting chemotherapy, made comments about it, that I didn't get sick. I would leave chemotherapy and go back to work, and I worked the whole time. And I think that when I had the chemotherapy, I missed less days than anybody I worked with, as far as, you know, being out sick. So it helped me in many, many, many ways.
Okay, so let's help our viewers get a little grip on or grasp of the different types. Like, why would someone come see a hypnotherapist? Other than what you just said, there are many, 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 many different types of hypnotherapy.
Right, they might come for stop smoking, you know, and there's no guarantee that it's going to be 100% for everybody, because everybody has different levels of suggestibility. And the person, number one, has to really, really want to do this. For instance, if you were a smoker and you came to me because your wife or your significant other wanted you to quit smoking, it probably wouldn't work unless you want to quit smoking. Unless you were the type of person that is like a somnambulist, where you would go completely out and be so suggestible that you would stop smoking, but that's rare. So you, number one, have to have the desire, because I can't make a person do something in hypnotherapy that they don't want to do. And that's a misconception that a lot of people has. And that's why many people are afraid of hypnosis. They think that the hypnotherapist is going to make them turn into a monkey or act like a monkey or do something.
We've seen those stage shows.
Those stage shows.
We've seen those
That,
stage shows.
you know, something
Yes.
that they don't want to do, and you can't. Because you're going to hear every word that I say. Whether you remember it or not is another story, but you're going to hear while I'm speaking, you're going to hear every single word I say. If I said something that you wouldn't like, you would tell me. And this happened to me. My son was taking hypnotherapy at the same time, and he hypnotized me for some weight loss. And he said, instead of losing weight, he said, you'll gain weight. Well, I came immediately awake and said, no, I won't. I'm not going to do that. So you really can't hypnotize somebody to do something that they're not willing to do, or that they are morally against. And that's a big fear that a lot of people have. You would come to me, trying to think of some other things, not just stop smoking, but weight loss. Again, the same kind of thing. You have to have that motivation to want to do it, because it's not just going to be hypnotherapy. I will give you suggestions for diet and drinking the proper amount of liquids that are healthy for your body, and eliminating certain things that you may eat. And if you're not willing to do that, then it may not work. But for most people, hypnotherapy does work, because they come to you when they want to get something done. Other uses for hypnotherapy would be if you're having problems in a relationship and you want to find out why. It may be due to something that happened when you were very young in this life, or it may go back to a past life. And we're able to then take you back to either this life, if it's something in your early childhood that happened to you. I had an instance where a young woman heard her father say, and she was only like 2 or 3 years old, she remembered sitting in a high chair, she heard her father say, "But I really didn't want another child." And that gave her such a complex, but she didn't consciously remember it. She went home that evening and she asked her mother, and her mother was shocked. She said, "How do you know that?" And she said, "Because I remembered it in hypnotherapy." But that helped her then to understand why she had some of the problems, and she was able to release it then. So that would be the whole point of going back, is to release something negative that's causing you a problem now. And that's what we're concerned about, is right now.
And it even helps, if my understanding is correct, it even helps if someone maybe has just, like they come out of a bad relationship and they can't let it go. You can also hypnotize them. That's what they call cutting the cord, allowing that energy to just separate. And they can still like the person, talk to them, but they lose that energetic connection.
Right.
Like
or the negative connection.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they still have an energetic connection, like a husband and wife. You know, and there's something negative that happened that they want to cut the cord on, but yet they still want to maintain the relationship that they have. So that's possible to do that, and it's been very successful.
So, well, you know, one thing I want to ask you about, because we have a lot of this at the center, is past life regression. So, kind of explain to our viewers, what is past life regression, and why would someone seek that? Because we have a lot of that, but I think the audience would like to know why. Why would someone come get past life regression? And then what exactly is it? And how far do people go back? Or is there a limit? Or, you know, kind of educate us on that.
Okay, there is no limit. You can go back from the very first time that you incarnated into a physical body. The reason that people want past life regression are varied. Some people are just really curious. Did I live in another body at another time? And nothing more than that. There are other people that are having problems in this lifetime and believe that maybe they're carrying something forth in their memory from a past lifetime.
Is it possible to have an answer in that past life about something that's happened? Like, not just something negative, but like going back and find if they have issues, going back and find a positive solution as well?
Absolutely, yes. And in the hypnotherapy that I do, I take them to a higher level where they can access higher self. And higher self always has the correct answer for what is needed at that time. Well, I don't know the answer, and consciously you may not know the answer. Higher self, your higher self, would know the answer to that. And so that's when also higher self may say, yes, we need to go back and re-experience this particular lifetime. Now, it's not necessary for a person to experience every lifetime they've ever had, because it's only what's going on now that's important in your life. What issues did you bring forward, if any, and how can we take care of those? And that's what past life regression would do.
Okay, so tell us now, if I was interested in hypnotherapy, which I am, because I'm having a session with Miss Tonie today after we finish. So tell us a little bit about if someone wants to go learn about hypnotherapy, where would they start? Like, where would they first, like, not like say the school they would go to, but how would someone, what would they look up, or how would they learn more if they were interested in maybe pursuing a path in hypnotherapy?
There are hundreds of books written about hypnotherapy, and they would start there. Just go to the library or go online. You don't even have to go to the library anymore. Go online and type in hypnosis and introductions to hypnosis. Read some books on hypnosis to see if this is something you really want to pursue. And I know like I said, there are literally hundreds of books on how to hypnotize. Almost everybody can learn self-hypnosis. It's not a hard thing to do. It's not a whole lot different than going into a meditation or a guided meditation. Much of hypnotherapy is visualization, being able to visualize what it is that you want to bring into your life.
Good. And so we do offer courses around the New Orleans area, and you know, we so people can, you know, look into that as well. Help us understand, and I know you don't do this type of hypnotherapy, but there are many who do. This is what I think builds a lot of fears. When people see people on stage doing things, you know, crazy things on stage. There's several shows in Vegas and here locally. There's a lot of stage hypnosis. Hypnotherapists, what's the difference between like what they do or is there a difference? Because I know these people aren't doing things that they normally wouldn't do anyway. Just like because you can't. That stays true.
That's true. They're not going to do anything that they wouldn't do normally. Stage hypnosis is strictly for show, and people will give clues as to how hypnotizable they are. And that stage hypnotist is going to choose those people that he believes will be very, very hypnotizable. And once you say, okay, I'm going to be hypnotized, you've agreed. You know, so yes, you know when you do. I've been a recipient of that. I've been hypnotized on stage. I knew that when I got up there, they were going to make me act silly. I mean, you know that. Mm-hmm. So the moment you give your permission, then yes, you know, they can do whatever, as long as it's not morally against what, you know, your belief system is.
So those still apply, and that's what I wanted our viewers to understand. That applies across the board. So we have people who go to these shows, they're scared to death to get up on stage. Like, don't be. It's you know, you're not going to do anything. And if it's something suggested, you won't do it if it's something you're against.
Right. If it's something you're morally against. Now, there was a case where a person had a problem in having people touch him. Mm-hmm. And he was hypnotized and the hypnotist touched him. That's not something he was morally against. He was able to do that, and you would be able to help somebody that had that problem by being hypnotized. And that was proof in the pudding, and it was a stage hypnosis where this was done. And everybody was shocked because this man allowed the hypnotist to touch him. But it's also a form of therapy. That's how you would help somebody that has that problem.
Very good. Before we get going any further, because we're going to start wrapping things up, we need to have a brief word from our sponsor. Welcome back. Well, in wrapping things up, Ms. Tonie, tell us a little bit your approach to hypnotherapy.
My approach is a very spiritual approach. I have been told by Spirit that I need to help people to align body, mind, and spirit. So I use that in my hypnotherapy, whether you come for to stop smoking or to lose weight. My main desire is to help you to become peaceful and calm and harmonious in your body, your mind, and your soul.
Very good.
That's what I do.
Great. Well, I'm about to go experience that. So let us conclude so we can get to our session.
Okay,
so thank you, audience, for joining us again on Metaphysical Moments. And until next time, namaste.